know. Do we have to make it so formal? Yep. You guys may start. I mean, I'm doing my work. Yep.
Okay. Good afternoon, Mr. Yong.
Yeah.
First of all, I would like to express our gratitude to you for your willingness to accept this interview. Um, we, we sincerely appreciate your time today and the opportunity to conduct this interview, and we really apologize for any disruption or inconvenience caused by conducting the interview during your holiday.
It's fine. It's okay.
As we develop into CBIN as a strategy to address ocean pollution, we are able to gain your insight and expertise. Your contributions are highly valued, and we are confident that our discussion will be both enlightening and informative. So, thank you, Mr. Young, for joining us.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Um, Before we begin the interview, we would appreciate if you could take a moment to introduce yourself and provide us with some background information about yourself.
Can you say it again? I mean, because the sound is not so clear. Probably it's because of the internet connections. It's a
Okay.
bit not so good.
Okay.
Let me see.
Before we
You go slowly because the sound is like breaking, something like that.
um,
Can you hear me clear over there?
yes, I can hear you.
Yeah, that's good.
Before we begin the interview, can you could take a moment to introduce yourself and provide us with some background information about yourself.
So introduce about myself. As you know, my name is Yong Chun. So I'm the one of the research lecturer in University Malaysia Terengganu. So basically, I'm doing marine pollution study, and my major is in chemical oceanography. Yep, is that okay?
Yeah, that's okay. Mm.
Yeah.
I think we should start the interview by
Mhm.
first question.
Okay, for the first question, what is your opinion about CB?
First of all, when you send me the questions regarding sea beans, I don't quite sure what's that, so I Google a bit. Oh yeah, then I know what is that. So something which has been invented like not so long ago, like few years, I mean before now. Well, it's a new stuff. Okay, so it used to collect the floating marine debris. Okay, yeah, I think that is its functions, right? And that's the only thing it can do.
Good afternoon, sir.
Yep.
The second question is, was the sea bean suitable to use in Malaysia in mitigate of pollution of water bodies?
Well, because I'm doing pollution study, first of all, I would like to declare, I mean, not declare, something like disclaimer, I guess. Well, it depends on what type of pollutions you're mentioning. Because we have dissolved, undissolved, chemical, not chemical, aerosol, and so many things. Okay, so if looking at the topic that you sent to me, sea bean. So I'm assuming you guys are only focusing on the floating solid waste, which is on the surface water. Okay, when I say surface water, it's referring to lake, pond, a river, and the sea. Okay. Yep. So is it suitable to be used in Malaysia? Well, I would say this one very much depends on your design, where you want to put the things. If you want to put it at the open sea, I think it is not quite suitable. If you have some time, you might Google back in YouTube or whatsoever, seeing who is running that project. If you observe carefully, the place where they deploy their instrument is at a relatively calm water. Have you observed that? Yep. So meaning that at the place where you have a lot of vegetation, I mean agitations, a strong wave, well, I think maybe they are not so suitable. So the best spot for you to deploy this instrument is near to the key area, the jetty, the pier, where you have a lot of pedestrians or tourists, or I mean the local residents who, I mean, yeah, the places where you might receive a lot of visitor, and potentially and probably they dump some waste into the water, and yeah, that time the sea bean can really do the job. Okay, but if you put in the open sea, well, I don't really see that much floating solid waste at the open sea. Yeah, mainly is the area close to the human inhabitant area, like city, the coastal city, and then the pier area, okay, and the key area. Well, in my mind so far, I'm not sure about the other area because I've been to Penang. So I can give a suggestion is the place where they call, is it Clarke Quay in Penang? That's a place. It's something like a marina area. It's like the people will park the sailing boat over there, and then they have a some sea wall to enclose the water, leave a small opening for the boat to get in to come out, and then the water inside that area is relatively calm, and that's the place a lot of people will go there, right? So potentially they might receive some debris, and yeah, at that place the CB probably can do the job very good. Okay, other than that, I think it's a big question mark.
Okay, thank you, sir. The next, the third question is: would the application of the sea bean will causing disturbance to the ecosystem of the coastal area?
Well, once again, the coastal area you're referring is where? Is it open oceans or what?
Hmm, tepi pantai.
Tepi pantai. I mean, that one I think is not suitable because I'm not really sure your instrument can survive that long because the sea wave keep bouncing. So I'm not sure when your instrument will get collapsed or yeah, can really collect anything from that. Okay, so yeah, once again, go back to the same area where you have a lot of people, potential place that might receive a lot of rubbish. Yeah, that place, those places you can do it over there. Okay, and then you say, this is the third question, right?
Yes.
Causing disturbance to the ecosystem. By far, I think it should be all right. It doesn't look like a something the fish will go and bite them or eat them. Yeah, it won't cause a lot. It won't cause a disturbance to the ecosystem, but it might have a little bit of conflict if you put it in a very busy area, especially for the place where you have lot of bird coming in and go out. I mean, it's like something like a highway for the boat or a boat where the boat will get in and come out. Yeah, that will cause a bit of disturbance to the daily activity because the boat need to avoid your beam, right? And your beam will disturb them. Probably you might get a lot of complaint.
Yeah, understand. Thank you, sir.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Yeah, it's true. Yeah, that's why I yeah. That's why I don't really buy the idea to put the sea bean in Malaysia. I mean, because maybe certain area, yes, but not all, right? If we say the river, yeah, it's only the water flow get aggressive, especially during the raining time. But other than that, it's pretty calm. If you want to put a sea bean over there, it's fine. Just that you need to make sure the what we call that, the water depth is good enough for you to deploy your instrument. If for a shallow river, I mean, no point, right? It's not floating. And then if you put it at a river, I'm not sure. If the river has crocodile or some other creatures, will they go and disturb your instrument? I'm not sure. because like we have monitorism in Malaysia, right? Because according to my experience, last time when I go to collect some fish, I'm using a net to collect some fish for the analysis. Well, I deploy a net overnight. I go and try to get some fish for as my sample, right? But before I arrive there, the the monitor lizard already having the fiesta over there eating my fish. Do you get my point? Yeah, it is again it is a question. So that's why I'm trying to ask: is the instrument you tend to just leave it there, or you remotely controlling it unmanned, or someone is attending there, like observe it all the time when it's operating. So these three aspect will directly influence the effectiveness for the deployment and the debris collections. Yeah, this is only my point, my opinion. If you ask someone else, maybe they tell you something else. Yeah, it's true. I mean, the river and lakes, they are both fine. The things I'm looking at your directions, you need to tune a little bit. It's something like now you're so much focusing on the problem, the debris, right? Okay, you need to look into a different angle. Is the debris existing in the place you want to deploy? You don't randomly go and deploy it, right? Of course, you need to go to a place where, yeah, potentially the place might receive a lot of floating solid waste. Then, yeah, you deploy it there, then you get to collect a lot of debris, and you help the society a lot by cleaning up all those waste, right? So if you go to a place like, for instance, like you know about Tasik, Kenya, right? Yeah, I mean, if you deploy it over there, I'm not really sure you can get to collect a lot of man-made anthropogenic solid waste. Because I don't worry about the natural solid waste, for instance, like the tree trunks, leaves, those biodegradable stuff. I don't have so much worry on that. Okay, but if you're talking about the man-made rubbish like plastic bag, yeah, those Tetra Pak and all those things, yeah, they are really giving a disturbance to our environment. So you need to look at the place where you want to deploy it.
Good afternoon, sir.
Yep.
Okay, now we will proceed with our fifth question.
Okay.
In your opinion, is there any other effective strategies to mitigate sea pollution except for the sea beams?
Yeah, once again, your question is very wide, so I just picked one area, which I think is good. Well, for this kind of debris, I would say we block it from the very beginning. That's the best strategy. For instance, um, like the Klang River, I'm not really sure how they call those things. It's something like a net made of metal. Okay. Well, the water can still pass through it, but it can block a massive amount of solid waste, including natural or anthropogenic. Okay, so if we block them, so people can go and clean it regularly, and yeah, it can reduce the waste get into the water, the debris get into the water and being flow out to the sea, right? So another thing is like the source for the debris is, as you all know, is from human, right? So that's why the awareness education is pretty important. But from what I have observed, yeah, it did give some impact to the society. They're knowing it, but they don't aware about it. It's something like everybody knows we shouldn't use plastic bag that much. But when you go to Pasar Malam, do you still remember those things? No, right? One round you go to Pasar Malam, you get a lot of plastic bag. Right, so that's why the awareness, and we still need to do it, but the most important thing is the law enforcement part. Yeah, that's the major one, because only rules and regulations can discipline human.
Thank you, sir. The next question is, what demands of sea beams will justify establishing a local manufacturing operation?
Yeah, for this part, I will think from a marketing angle. So if I'm the tauke, the boss who own the company, first of all, I will ask, how many people will buy this kind of thing? Okay, if the market is not here, I'm not going to produce it. It's like a wasting. I mean, it's like a losing money business, right? And then the second thing is, it depends on the design for the instrument. Is it complicated? Is it the parts that you use to construct it, a bit build it is difficult to get? If the both question I asked is positive, then probably the cost will be very high. And yeah, you know, Malaysian, we love budget stuff, right? So yeah, this will be another question. Unless you can convince the authority to buy it from you and give it to the local community to use it. That is another story. But imagine if even though the authorities support you to do this kind of thing, suddenly you go to the coastal area, you see so many beans. That is another issue, giving a negative impact to the aesthetic value to our beautiful beach as well, right? So pro and con, a lot of things. Sorry, I think a lot of negative side, but I think I should mention it. Okay, I'm not banning the idea. The idea is brilliant. Just that I try to cheat in more things so you guys can think from different angle. Okay, yeah, it's a great idea. I'm not banning the idea. Idea is good. Eh? Yeah. Any question? Don't you have to start asking next question. If you let me talk, I can talk for hours.
Okay, and the next question is, how can we help more people understand why marine conservation is important and motivate them to take action?
Well, I think this is a part I need your input as well because we have tried to tour around Malaysia. I mean, I joined my student that organized a tour, but of course we don't go to everywhere. We select some school because we believe, I mean, for those adult, it's pretty difficult to change their behavior. So we start from the youngster. Okay, so we went to the school and give a talk and let them know about the things. Uh, yeah, we go to several school. I mean, what I'm trying to say is like we did try the road tour to give a awareness talk. Um, we also sometimes, I mean, we did research over here as well in UMT. Um, sorry, can you say again your question? Was it question number
yeah,
7?
yes, question number 7.
Okay. So, yeah, I did mention the road tour. And in UMT, quite regularly, we do some beach cleanup activity. We always get to collect a lot, a massive amount of rubbish, the debris, which being stranded on our beach. And quite a big number of them, and looking at the label, is coming from our neighboring countries. So they don't take a flight to come here, right? So it must be someone dumping it in the open oceans. Eventually, it's being stranded on our beach. Okay, so I'm not trying to point the finger who did the wrong thing, but that's what we found. Another thing is like we try to, we start from our student. We always try to make them think about what we can do, what effort we can contribute to reduce the waste being discharged to the environment. For instance, like we go back to the same issue, the plastic bag. So we did have some community projects with the local community and the NGO. Have you guys heard about eco bricks? ECOBRICKS, eco bricks. It's something like a mineral bottle. Then you collect a lot of plastic stuff, which very difficult to be degrade. So we try to stuff it into the plastic bag as stiff as possible. So when it's become very stiff, so it can functioning like a rocks. So you can tie a few bottles together to make it become like a table, a chair. So in that manner, we're trying to reduce the waste being just let it rotten or staying forever in our environment. That's what we did. Okay. Yeah. I mean, that's something we have done over here.
I think that's all question from us.
Mhm.
So I guess our interview has
You still have a
come.
last. You still have last question, right? Number 8. Yeah. Then I want to add a little bit more. I mean, on one thing, I think it's about how to make the people more understand, right? I think if you educate the people only, it's not good enough. If you can start from the owner for the supermarket or the small grocery store, let them know, reduce plastic bag usage. And another thing is let the customer bring in their own recycling bag to put in the things that they want so they don't have to ask for a plastic bag from the grocery store or the supermarket. Okay, I'm not sure about the place you're staying now or your hometown. Like in Terengganu is quite a lot of groceries, I mean supermarket or grocery store, quite a number of them, not all of them. They still like, they don't trust you when you're bringing in your own recycling bag. They still insist you need to use the plastic bag. So yeah, because again, what I'm trying to do now, what I'm saying now is like we're trying to stop the utilizations on plastic bag or the solid waste. Then we can reduce the possibility for those waste marine debris get into the water, right? And then yeah, another part you maybe can do some. This is the most difficult part. I think it's not possible to do it, but this is the point. Well, usually when you go to the supermarket, you buy something like a gift to your friends, or you receive a gift from your friend, or even you're buying a cell phone. You have a magnificent packaging, but eventually you only need the phone, right, and the cable. The rest, you just throw it away. So that is something. It's not. We don't need it, right? But how are we going to convince the manufacturer not to do that? Because they need to do that to attract the customer to buy from them. But if we're telling them, please reduce to use those things, yeah, that's why it's the not contradict. It's the competitions to win their trust, or they choose to do that continuously to make the business grow. I mean, this question, this issue. I mean, this phenomenon, there's no answer, but everybody try their own effort to make it become a better place, a better way to handle the waste that we are potentially produce. Okay. Yeah, because exactly, especially in the Southeast Asian regions, like including Malaysia, Thailand, Indonesia, these 3 countries producing a crazy amount of plastic bag. I mean, people use it, and eventually it gets into the oceans. Yeah, if you go and Google it a little bit, you can find it. The most plastic waste being discharged into the oceans is coming from Malaysia, Indonesia, and Thailand. Okay, so have you heard about Mexico? So probably you think Mexico is a developing country like us, right? But a few days ago, I met a visitor from there. What he told me is really surprised me a bit, because he say in Mexico, I'm not sure it's the whole Mexico or what, but he say the city he came from, they're totally banned on the plastic bag utilization. No way you can get a plastic bag. But I think we can't really do that because the people will protest, right? But of course, I mean, it doesn't mean that we can't change. I mean, just that we need to do more effort to convince people to bring their own bag when they're doing a grocery shoppings or whatsoever. Yeah, and with time. Okay, that's why we need a youngster like you guys. Start from now, continue for a few years, and hopefully we can see the changes. I hope. Then you must Then you must be from Penang, right? Ipoh, is it? But that one's only on Saturday, right? Right, just one day. Penang, I think it's the whole weeks, right? Is there anyone away from Penang? No. Yeah, I think Penang is the all the time. I think Penang is all the time, but the rest of the city, yeah, it's just one day, which is on Saturday. Mm. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah, my pleasure. Mhm. No problem. It's fine. I'm in the middle of marking task paper, quite bored. So someone talk to me is good. Yeah, I hope so. I hope so. Okay, yeah. Wishing you guys good luck. Okay, with your assignment. Okay, yeah. Okay, bye.
Thank you,
You,
Mr.
sir.
Yang.
Okay, guys, done.
Siapa ambil gambar?
Thank you,
Ambil gambar.
guys.
Ambil gambar.
Ambil gambar.
Ah,
Aduh. Oh,
okay.
Jap.
Okay.
Kita pun ambil gambar jugalah. Macam meeting ke.
Saya ingat
okay,
soalan. Boleh lah, boleh lah.
Okay, 1, 2, 3. Dah.
Okay, guys. Thank you.
bye-bye.